it's been pretty good so far. They're gonna be like,
yeah,
everyone's gonna hear some voices. I can assure you, it's not the schizophrenia kicking in. It's
the voices.
The fucking voices are getting louder. No, it's my sister and Nicole in the back.
Yes.
Playing Super Mario Party.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot.
No, it's been pretty good. Some of my new coworkers now know that I have a podcast. So now I gotta be
professional.
No, I'm gonna still be me on here. Alright, but like
you're not gonna be as crazy. I don't know.
No, I've already said like I'd fuck a xenomorph. Like there's no going back with me on that. So like that's already out there.
Which is crazy because my coworkers like they don't know any of that crazy stuff from me.
No, but it was really interesting because we were doing like this little team bonding exercise for new people that just not joined in, but they came back from training, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're doing 2 truths and a lie. And like one of my truths were I co-hosted this podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, "What's it about? True crime and paranormal?" And then we all just went around the room talking about paranormal experiences.
I love when that happens.
Dude, it was so fucking cool, especially because one of my trainers was talking about his experience on the Queen Mary.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wait, did he? Wait, that's why it took me a second. I was like,
You weren't even paying attention until I fucking said it.
No, but it's just, I was just clearing off the app so that it can open docs.
But it's because apparently when it's like a transition of ownership between the state and whoever owns like the Queen Mary at the time, during that time, people can volunteer to be security, to protect from like trespassers, people in the parking lot having sex, which is apparently a common thing, and people who want to set fire to the Queen Mary.
I feel like, okay, hold up. That last one was kind of weird. But I get the whole wanting to have sex in the parking lot or whatever. That's everywhere.
Yeah.
That is everywhere.
But it's just a thing. So, like, it'll be either, like, local police people, firefighters, what people who I work for. They'll just volunteer for that, right? Mm-hmm. So his story is that he went down into the engine basement room, which isn't, I guess, accessible to a lot of people. And, he's, like, geared up, suited up, everything, right? Like, he's got his fucking gun on the side of his hip. And he sees a white mist pass by him, right? Going down a long hallway to his left. And he radios it in. He's like, "Hey, is there anyone down here in the engine room? Hello, anyone down here?" Like, he's trying to call somebody. No one's responding. So he's going for it, and he turns that corner, and then he sees that spirit make a hard right to a different corner, and then he radios it back in. "Hey, I'm following whoever this is. Like, I'm right behind you." He's drawn out at this point. He has his gun drawn out because he doesn't know who's down there with him. It's supposed to be like him and I think a few other people, like like being security for the ship. And so he's going down this hallway. He makes that sharp ass right, dead end. Whatever he was following, disappeared.
Holy shit! Oh my god! I don't know. Right now I'm feeling very like creeped out with ghosts and shit like that because of something that I did see. I'm gonna elaborate more, but I don't know why. Like, I was listening to Mozart this morning as I was finishing up my notes, waiting for the landlord to come pick up the rent, and like
that asshole.
Just listening to the Lacrimosa or whatever from Mozart. Like, I was just getting chills, like just fucking writing it. Like, I was reading, like when I watched the documentary, the little documentary yesterday. I was, like, kind of chilling or whatever because I was, like, eating my sandwich. I was, like, kind of, like, falling asleep while watching it and everything. And, like, I don't get scared easily, dude. You already know I don't get scared easily. Mm-hmm. But then, like, I'm just like, okay, let me pull up this article and everything to get more, like, info on what I'm researching. And then, like, the more I read, the more I just, like, I started getting, like, shivers up my spine. And, like, it's not even scary. Like, now, like, looking back, like, I'm reading it and it doesn't seem that scary. But from the footage that I saw, I'm just like, okay, holy shit.
But you set the mood for yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now it's like, I feel like a scared cat. Like, the hairs on my arms are like up.
Alright. This is going to be a good episode. Everybody, welcome back to episode 33 of the Caffeinated Creeps podcast. I'm Mr. Bernardoves, and with always is...
Denise.
Of course. And this time what were we drinking last time? I don't think we even...
We were drinking the G Fuel.
Yeah, the gamer stuff, right?
Yeah, there we go.
This time we got coffee. We had it with some bandusa to go with that. That shit was delicious.
Mm-hmm. And it was Pokemon.
It was Pokemon themed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Living out. Wait, hold on.
Michael and I literally reached for our mugs at the same time.
That was perfect.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
I can't even drink it because I feel like I'm gonna spit it out. I'm gonna just put it down and I'll drink it in a bit. That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody, welcome back. Mm-hmm. It's been a minute.
Yes.
And anyway, anything else before we kick it in?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. So I've been getting low-key a little bit spooked out at work because I heard like a bang outside of my facility because like the windows was kind of like cracked open.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't know what it was, and I was all like, I'm not stupid enough to go check it out. And then I heard a whole bunch of coyotes howling, and I was just like, yeah, no. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no. And I was all like, I should probably turn off all the lights, pretend no one's home. But I can't. I mean, I technically can turn off all the lights, it's just that I scare myself even more. So I leave them on, like, on the lowest setting so that I can see, like, when I mop and shit. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's a safety hazard for, like, the residents because they walk around at night. But, yeah. Oh, something creepy that I do want to mention that happened with my coworker. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, like a spiritual thing. I don't know. But, my coworker, she had found her neighbor dead in her apartment. And everything, like, I guess, like, she wasn't, like, coming out of her house or whatever, like, she usually does, and she was, like, an old woman, and she goes and she looks in her window, and she sees that she's, like, on the floor, so she, like, jumps through the window and everything, and she's all, like, I'm surprised that I had the strength to do that, because she's been going through, she had just finished chemo, so she's cancer-free, so I'm happy for her, but, like, so she's still very weak because of that, and she's all, like, I don't know how, but she jumped through the window, found her dead, obviously, tried doing, like compressions on her. It didn't work out, and, like, she had a close relationship with this neighbor, and she's all, like, please, like, give me a sign of, like, how you died for, like, my own peace of mind, like, how did this happen, how did you die? And literally, like, the next day when she went to work, 2 of our residents fell down and hit themselves in the same place.
Fuck. I wouldn't use other residents.
What are the fucking odds that happens? One needed to get stitches because they both hit themselves on the face. Mm-hmm. They fell and they hit themselves on the face. One needed to get stitches. Mm-hmm. So she's all like, please, like, I don't know if this is a coincidence. Please tell me, like, this isn't how you died. So that's kind of creepy for you. Also, did you know that your boy Spider-Man Yuri, he voices Spider-Man in Marvel Rivals?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I knew that.
Well, I don't know because I don't play Spider-Man. I haven't even touched Spider-Man as a character at all.
I mean, you can play it on PC.
Marvel Rivals?
No, the Spider-Man games.
Oh, the Spider-Man game?
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Oh, I know, but I was just saying, like, I thought that he'd have, like, a different voice actor.
Uh-huh. No, he just really loves voicing him at this point.
I don't blame him. He's a fun character.
Damn, I don't know what the fuck I did with it. Anyway, I was gonna show you that. I bought my my dice set for D&D.
You got a dice set?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how exciting! How exciting!
It's like emerald green.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
It's nice. When I find it,
I
I'll show it to you.
I haven't bought myself a dice set, but one of my residents, like 3, maybe 4 years ago, like when I first started working as a CNA, she's all like, you seem like you'd be really into Dungeons and Dragons, and she got me like a dice set. It's just a basic one. It's like purple and everything, and they just have the numbers or whatever. But it's really precious to me. It's very sweet. I haven't communicated with her at all because she had left. But I feel like that's like a dice that I'm gonna use for a while. I feel like I should use it because I've never used it ever.
Yeah, because I was telling Nicole, like, how long do we have until like Ray's ready with her campaign? Yeah, about a month or two. I was like, fuck. And I don't know if that was real or not, so I was like, I gotta buy a dice set.
Well, it's not a full-on campaign. It's just gonna be a one-shot.
A one-shot, yeah.
Just to try it out.
But I mean, I gotta have my stuff ready, and I gotta have my character ready.
Yeah.
I don't even have my name. I mean, I know.
I even told Nicole she'd be down to DM, and she said she'd be down to DM too. And I feel like Nicole's much more creative with her storytelling than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited if Nicole ever does become a DM and
a daddy master.
Yes, a daddy master. I want to do an isekai campaign, kind of like Dungeons and Daddies too. But I want my character to be a paladin, but the god that she serves is a mangaka. Any mangaka.
What's a?
Like a creator of an anime
or
a manga.
Okay.
And her holy scriptures are manga.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Because I read something similar where somebody had a smut paladin and their scriptures was smut fan fictions that they wrote. And I was like, that's fucking genius. I was like, why can't I do that with manga? And I was like, that's so cool.
Oh, I know where the bag is. Shit. It just occurred to me where it's at. It's in Daisy's car.
That's nice.
I bought Yu-Gi-Oh cards too at the same time. My addiction's coming back up.
I feel that.
Yeah. I can't put down. I in a sense, because like I'm collecting. I have a deck and I'm not even using it either.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I've been wanting to collect One Piece cards. Sorry, I keep.
I've
been wanting to collect One Piece cards, but I don't know how to start. Mm-hmm. Which obviously, like, just buy cards and shit like that. But I don't know which ones are like the rare ones, which ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I've been wanting to get into the what's it called? Like the actual game. Like, I'm not gonna say where we are, but there is a brewery near here that, if I believe, like every Wednesday or every Thursday, they do a One Piece like card game like battle that you can go and you can see people play. And I was like, here, like, and I'm just like, that's insane.
See, I need to find a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh one. The only one I know is in Little Tokyo.
I think the brewery does other card battles too. If I remember the account, I'll send it to you. If not, you can like try to host one yourself. Get the word out there. People will probably come.
Yeah.
Do a Yu-Gi-Oh battle.
Only thing I'm gonna hate is that there was those sweats that, since I'm not that in, I love the game. I'm just not on their level. Mm-hmm. And so they'll come in and just demolish me and, you know, fucking bend me over, spread my cheeks kind of shit.
They'll just eat your ass and not in the way you want it.
Mm-hmm. No tongue, no nothing like that. They're just gonna like have at it. Oh
my god.
If my coworker is listening to this,
imagine if this is like the first episode that they click on. This is their first impression of you outside of work.
No, the first one is the recent one, episode 32, and in that first like minute we talked some dirty shit already. Mm-hmm. So it's not a good look.
I was sharing the podcast to some friends that I have like that I've been making online. And they're all like, what the fuck is up with the names? And I'm like, I give all the credit to my co-host. Like, he, like, comes up with the names.
Like, is it in a bad sense? Or?
No, like, they're just, like, bad. They're, like, they were laughing. They were laughing their asses off. Because, like, they were literally reading the titles to me. And I'm, like, getting redder and redder, like, all embarrassed. I'm like, don't be embarrassed. It's funny. And I was like, but it's still embarrassing.
I try so hard to come up with fucking clever names.
No, I love it, but it's just that when somebody like shows me what I've done, it's like, what the fuck? you know what I mean?
No, compared to that first episode, I still
illegal butt stuff and the barking made me do it.
I think nothing beats that, honestly. Like, that one is just...
Yeah.
Perfect.
I want to go back and I want to listen to the first episode because I really liked it.
Every now and then I'll do the same thing, but I'm like, I feel like I can't listen to it. There's something about it.
I don't know. I feel like I can't, like, it's kind of hard listening to, like, the first 5-6 episodes because we sounded very, like, rough and awkward.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. And then, like, after, like, around, like, episode 6 or 7, we're, like, more, like...
It took, like, 5 episodes.
Well, I mean, like, I've never talked into a mic willingly, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically I have, but, like, you know?
Look at this. Episode 16, fishy name and busting your load and hitting the road. Yeah, great stuff. Oh my fucking god. And you let me do this.
Nah, I don't even blame you. It reminds me of my favorite gun from Fortnite, the pump and dump. I wouldn't even call it the pump and dump. I'd call it the hit it and quit it.
That's a good one. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I think it is time for us to start, though.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Alright. No, it's just good to always just catch up and do some stupid shit. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like our therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so today, or this week at least, I got true crime. And I'm going to start this off by saying I cannot find this dude's previous history. I tried ridiculously hard. I can only find just a little bit, and I'm gonna mention it like towards the end of the story. Cause I can't find any other information like on his wife, his kid.
Is it popular? Like
no,
no,
it is
very
niche, small. I'm talking small here.
As it should be, because I don't want to give them power.
All right, so. On April 10th, 1990, a man named Arthur M. Ross and his 14-year-old son in Tucson, Arizona, called a local real estate agent by the name of Mac Moore. Yes, I am dead serious when I say that. Yes, I am 100% serious. Moore as in Moore. Like Moore, but... yes, it sounds like that, okay?
Like the rapper?
Like the rapper. Arthur introduced himself as Michael Davis and expressed his interest into looking at residential properties that were listed and arranged with Moore to look into 3 houses. According to Moore, these 3 houses were supposed to be empty but were not. The first 2 houses had cleaning crew all over the place. Arthur began to talk to Moore about the 3rd house when Ross decided to just to get up and leave without even seeing the 3rd house, as he told Moore that he was late for another appointment they had made just earlier that morning with a new and upcoming real estate agent by the name of James Rubley. My bad. James Rubley. Earlier that morning, Ross saw a vacant store at the Tucson property with their appointment at 2 p.m. James, being a 26-year-old with a 4 years into the real estate business, was excited for the opportunity. Once the 2 men were inside the property, Ross began to point a 9mm pistol and shot James. Yeah, it is quick how this goes down.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Alright, so let me repaint this picture, okay? Arthur books an appointment, 2 appointments with real estate agents, right? One with discount Michael Moore. He wants to see 3 properties. 2 of them are just full of like cleaning crew. Doesn't want to see the 3rd one and leaves. He's going to go to this other appointment with James that he booked earlier. Now, at this point, he doesn't have his 14-year-old son. It's just him. So he meets up with James to go to this one appointment. And immediately, when they step into that room, into this vacant room, he pulls out a 9mm pistol.
What? That's why I had to I was like, wait, go back.
No, yeah, it's quick. It's super quick.
Uh-huh.
And shoots James once. James went down to the ground. Ross dragged James's body behind a counter and shot James the second time, killing James.
You know what? I think I have heard of this
Have
case
you?
before. I'm pretty sure I have heard of this case before.
Fuck. Alright. Ross stole a credit card, a bank card, and all of James's identification. Throughout the next 4 days, Ross and his 14-year-old son would withdraw $800 from an ATM using the bank card, used the stolen ID to get a driver's license, and even bought a car using James's credit card. James's roommate and co-workers were concerned when James never came back from the appointment. His co-workers checked his logbooks and went to the vacant building, where they discovered his body. On April 14, 1990, police managed to track down Ross following a trail of credit cards and bank transactions. When confronted, Ross claimed to be James and even showed his identification to the police. Ballsy move, by the way. Ross was read his Miranda rights, which he waived, and agreed to talk to investigators and detectives freely of his own accord. Ross began to immediately lie to detectives, saying his name was Robert Burgess, and claimed that he found the wallet and its contents in a dumpster. However, when pressed further, Ross confessed to the shooting of James, but only ever intended to rob him that day. Ross claimed that a fight broke out, there was a struggle, and that the first shot was accidental, but the second shot was deliberate because Ross had feared for his life, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. When set on trial, Ross refused to give his statement and called to suppress his confession. The court didn't buy this bullshit because, quote, that when the defendant gave his statement to the detectives, the defendant knew what he was doing, that the statement was voluntary, and they were not the product of an overborne will resulting from police promises, threats, or coercion. Not just that, but during the trial, more evidence came to light linking Ross to the murder. The local bank and ATM showed Ross and his kid withdrawing the money. Ross's fingerprints were at the scene of the crime, and the same 9mm pistol was discovered in Ross's car. The jury unanimously found Ross guilty and sentenced Ross to death for first-degree murder and life imprisonment for armed robbery.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Was he with his wife at the time? Like, did she just not know, or did she just not give a fuck, or like what?
See, that's what I couldn't find. I tried... Because it's such a small case, I couldn't find any other information. There's no Wikipedia page, on this guy.
Oh, that's insane. There's
Yeah.
usually oh, okay.
For what I could find.
Uh-huh.
It's because his name is not uncommon. There's artists and there's this fucking nuclear physicist who helped out on a Manhattan Project with his name.
Ugh.
So it's to dig for his information is really tough.
I bet.
I tried. I just couldn't find anything. I tried looking for what happened to his son, where the fuck was the wife and all this? Was he a widow?
Yeah, because I have a lot of questions too. If the son was there, did the son watch? Was the son in the car?
My guess is that from what I know, the son was there for the first three, not even the first three, the first two appointments for when he made those first real estate appointments. He was there. But for this one, he wasn't. Either he was in a car or he was somewhere. I think at their own house. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I really couldn't find anything.
And why would he kill the second one and not the first one? Not trying to sound morbid. Is it because they looked similar or? Actually,
I'm gonna kind of get to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't want to jump the gun.
There's no, from what I could find at least, there's no real clear motive.
Mm-hmm.
Just
because he felt like it.
Either he felt like it, or he is claiming and it is true, but we'll never know, that a fight did break out. It was a simple robbery. James tried to fight, and then that first shot went off. Mm-hmm. So it could have been he never intended to kill, but ended up just fucking
So it's
killing
more
him.
like manslaughter instead of murder.
Yes. but they still gave him that first degree murder anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he did drag James into a counter, behind a counter, and then shot the second time. That's first degree murder.
That's when it becomes meditated.
Yeah,
meditated is murder, and then doing it like just because like when it was manslaughter.
Okay, so jury put him for death row, and then life imprisonment for armed robbery. While awaiting death row, Ross was given legal options to avoid the death penalty, and even like extend his death row. But he opted out, claiming he was tired of living on death row and would rather die than to serve life in prison. Ross was given his last meal, which he chose 3 grilled cheeses, a fried egg sandwich, macaroni and cheese, which apparently he asked for a shit ton, one pint of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and 2 cans of Pepsi. The real crime here being Pepsi. It should have been Dr. Pepper. When asked if he had any final words, he told the executioner, and I quote, nah, unquote.
Nah.
Nah. N-A-H, nah.
Mint chocolate chip, hello.
That's delicious.
No, but didn't you say... No, wait, no, I agree. Believe me.
I was going to start a fight right now.
We've talked about this before, about how the majority of serial killers, like, their last meal is
always involves
mint chocolate chip.
Yeah.
That's why, like, as soon as you said that, like, my ears pricked up. I was like, excuse me.
You know the funny part is, right after I finished this, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I tried looking, I got curious. I was like, someone has had to have made an article about mint chocolate chip and serial killers. Because they go hand in hand, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing. So I'm like, I couldn't find anything.
We should just do, like, a list.
That's a long list. That's a long fucking list. Okay. Alright, so when asked if he had any last words, he told his executioners, nah. He was then given the lethal injection. And according to the Arizona Daily Star, the report was that a young woman had fainted and needed to be carried out of the death chamber. Prosecutors called Ross a career criminal, as he had multiple convictions for theft in Kansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, and in California. And even had a second-degree burglary charge in Georgia. He served 8 months, which should have been a 20-year sentence. Mm. So that's where that ends. I couldn't find any information on a wife, his life, his son, what happened to his son. But the only reason why I say that, to call him a career criminal, and he's been in and out of prison for like well over a couple years. Besides that, that second degree burglary charge, the articles I read said that he was just like in and out for years. Mm-hmm.
Have you tried like searching him up in like the criminal database?
You know, the funny part was that a lot of this information came from 2 sites. Mm-hmm. Arizona's, shout out to them by the way. Arizona, like their public records. Mm-hmm. That anyone can just go visit, and I just managed to find his file for his final meal. So that was interesting. And then findagrave.com.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it lists like where his grave is at, and it's at the Arizona Penitentiary.
They get buried there too?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Lot
that makes
S2,
sense.
I think, or 2S.
That's, you know what? That makes sense though. That makes sense that criminals would get, I mean, they don't have to pay property taxes.
In that, what was it called again? Hold on, look at it. The Arizona Daily Star, I think that's what I called it. Yeah, Arizona Daily Star. That little article that was written, there were testimonies of people who were related to James, who were there for the execution. You know, saying that, how could he ever do this? You know, why wouldn't he do this? And apparently nobody who was related to Ross was there. Like, nobody was there on his behalf. So I think that maybe he's buried at the penitentiary because no one claimed him at a certain point. I don't know how that legal process works. But he's there rotting in prison.
Because there has been something that came out a few years ago about like a mass grave of prisoners in a penitentiary, like outside. So I don't know if they just toss them like in there too. That's interesting. I feel like I want to research that more now.
It's cool, but it's also a little weird.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever heard like where like people like Ted Bundy or whatever, like where they're buried at. You know?
I think with infamous people like that, either a misguided grave where it's like it says Ted Bundy right here, but like his location's probably like somewhere fucking further.
There are 2 people that I have covered that are in cemeteries, Bonnie and Clyde, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were unmarked or not. I don't think so. I don't think they were unmarked because of how popular they were. Because they had like a whole freaking like parade for them.
I don't know who else has an unmarked grave like that. The only not even a person, the only creature I know is the dog from The Wizard of Oz. Toto. Apparently his grave was disturbed, I think, to make a freeway. And they lost his body. So they moved the grave, but the body's was never recovered.
He's not in the celebrity graveyard because they have a statue of him there.
The statue, but his body's not there.
That's insane.
It's either a Toto or somebody I'm completely misremembering.
I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, obviously that's not the dog's name. Toto's not the dog's name.
Yes. Yeah.
But you know, like.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a piece of conch on there. To be back. My bad.
That's crazy. I'm gonna Google that real quick. Where do they bury the bodies of killers?
I mean, just like I know Ted Bundy has his for sure. Just like him, Jeffrey Dahmer had his own like little clique, his own obsessed fans. I don't know where he's buried at, but I feel like if people had access information to where the bodies is, that like, somebody would have to have had already unearthed them.
Oh, okay. I figured it out. The burial practices of convicted killers vary. In cases where the body is not claimed by family, it's typically buried in a prison cemetery.
Called it!
For example, H.H. Holmes, America's first serial killer, was buried in the Holy Cross Cemetery of Eden, Pennsylvania. Prison cemeteries. Many prisons have their own cemeteries for burying inmates who die or are executed, particularly those who are not claimed by relatives. In some cases, the state may handle the burial of unclaimed bodies, often in a state-owned cemetery.
So I was right. Toto, and I was absolutely fucking right, was initially buried on his owner and trainer, Carl Spitz Ranch in Studio City, Los Angeles. However, the gravesite was destroyed in 1958 when the Ventura Freeway was constructed and the property was demolished. Later, a memorial for Toto was established at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I was fucking right. What a useless piece of information I have in my fucking head.
It's like that information where like they just tell you once and then you never forget about it.
Yeah. God. I can't even memorize shit for work. That's even worse. Oh, that's terrible. Okay.
It'd be like that sometimes.
You really do.
Alright. So I'm assuming it's my turn now.
I believe so.
Alrighty. Hold on to your helmets, y'all. Okay, so at first I was going to cover this haunted house in like Tennessee because there was like a curse of like a witch there or whatever, and supposedly like it inspired like the Blair Witch Project and stuff like that. I was gonna cover that, but it was really boring.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's because it was like late at night when I was like trying to get it and I was just tired and I just couldn't like retain, like it wasn't interesting to me. So I might go back to it who knows? But what I'm gonna be covering is the Catalina Island Casino.
Casino.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another reason as to why like I saw this, like I had just clicked on it like on a whim, and this is my excuse to talk more about Ghost Adventures.
We love our little Zach Bagel bites.
Yeah, but like this is the only Ghost Adventures episode that I've seen that genuinely creeped me out.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even scary. It's just the evidence that they found, and like. I feel like it's the most, like... Because, like, I'm being honest. Like, the majority of the Ghost Adventures episodes, they're bull. You know?
Yeah.
They're bull, but it's funny. And how dramatic they are, it
like,
makes it entertaining.
It's safe to say that... That's why I like watching some of those kind of shows were like that. Like, ghost hunting...
Or, like, Ghost
hunting
Files.
shows. Because, like, some of it, 75%. Good 80, maybe. It's theatrical. Like, it's just funny and it's silly. But there's that other 20% where I like to think that maybe they did capture something, you know? Or fucking Ryan and Shane when they captured apple taters.
Yeah.
I thought that shit was hilarious because, like, you know, you can't really fucking just create that shit out of thin air.
Yeah. But, like, I even went on Reddit and apparently, like, there's a whole hate campaign on one of the members of Ghost Adventures. One of the newer ones, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there for years already, but because I don't know, I haven't watched Ghost Adventures in a long time. Like I haven't like just sat down and like watched it. You know what I mean? Like I'll watch an episode here and there.
I think Billy was like their fourth unofficial guy. Like he was like helping out behind the scenes, like while the three main were out in the building. Like Zach would be outside, like in a van, like watching over them.
Yeah, a lot of people fucking hate him. Apparently, like on Reddit and everything, but. They're all like, Zach's not gonna like have him removed because he's too much of a yes man, and like he'll do like he's always right there like ready to suck his dick like if he wants to.
Wow.
Like that's just like the vibes that everybody was giving off on Reddit, and these are like avid like Ghost Adventures like watchers. But they were talking about how like in the recent episodes that they were actually really good, like especially with the evidence. And then like even Aaron is like getting annoyed with this Billy guy. Like you can just see like on screen like he's just like getting fucking annoyed.
I think Aaron's has been through some shit. He just needs a break.
Well, no, but this is like 2 years ago, way before this shit happened.
Oh my god!
This thing was the episode that I saw was released 2 years ago, but I don't know if that's true though because it was just released on Hulu 2 years ago, and they usually record a year before they release it. You know, so. I don't know how long that's been. But yeah. So, Catalina Island is famous for its wine mixers, beautiful beach, buffaloes roaming around, their fish habitats, and Marilyn Monroe. Because, fun fact, Marilyn Monroe used to live in Catalina Island.
Huh.
Okay. I thought you knew that.
I did not.
Probably. I don't know. I went through, like, this whole...
You said probably. Fun fact. Probably.
No, she did. No, there's even like a whole like part of her like in the like museum and shit like that. Like talking about like her life there, living there. The reason as to why like I know quite a bit of Catalina Island is because I was actually going to take a trip there in the summer, because you know going back to my ex or whatever they were planning a trip to go in the summer to Catalina Island. And his dad wanted to take a fucking helicopter. And I was like, no fucking way am I going to be in a helicopter. A helicopter ride from, like, the mainland to Catalina is 15 minutes. But a ferry ride is, like, an hour. And I'm like, I'll wait an hour. I am not going to go on a fucking helicopter. No, thank you.
You know, like a fear or what?
Especially because it's over the open ocean. I'd feel much safer on a boat in the open ocean than on a fucking helicopter.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's also famous for their ghosts. And like, I'm only going to be talking about the casino because I'm going to be talking about the casino and a little bit of like lore of Catalina Island in and of itself. Because there's also a mansion and a hotel there that's also haunted, if I'm correct. But you can also take ghost tours. If you go to Catalina Island, you can take a ghost tour.
Perfect.
Which I'd be down to do, honestly. I'd be down to do. We get there early, take an hour ferry ride, chill there and everything, come back. I'm down. But, anyways, so I'm mainly just going to be talking about the casino this time. I might cover the other ones someday. So, it's the most famous landmark in Catalina Island, and it's a round 12-story building. And despite it being called the casino, it was not a gambling den, but instead a place of entertainment. Mm-hmm. In the 1930s and 40s, legendary musicians such as Grant Miller, Kay Kaiser, Harry James, as well as many others performed in this location in the Catalina Casino's ballroom. And it spans over 20,000 square feet and proudly claims the world's largest circular ballroom without interior support pillars.
But it hosts the worst fucking ballroom to exist.
No, that was just
shit is ugly.
That was a tongue tie. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Catalina Casino. During World War II, Catalina Island was transformed into a military base. As part of the war effort, various branches used it for different purposes. And after the war, some material are tucked away inside the casino's interior walls, including essential emergency supplies ready for deployment if needed. So, the Catalina Casino, it has a lot of doors leading to nowhere and shit like that. Like, a lot of, yeah. So, I'm assuming it was just mainly used for, like, storage, like those doors leading to nowhere. That's just what I'm assuming. So I don't really think it's creepy in and of itself. I think it's very beautiful. It's giving very much 30s and 40s, honestly. Kind of like the old Hollywood vibe, which is something I like a lot. It's not super glamorous, but it's like giving like old Hollywood vibes and stuff like that. Yeah. I really appreciate like the architecture, and I'm really down to see it because I just think it's beautiful. So now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna get into like the creepies. So, the main issue here is the mirrors. There's a lot of mirrors. And, not like a whole bunch to the point where, like, the whole building's covered in it. But the main part that we're dealing with is that mirrors keep circling around when it comes to the ghosts here. So, they obviously, give off a creepy vibe. And in the woman's lounge. So, I can't really tell if it's, like, a restroom or a lounge room. Because, like, when I looked at the footage, it literally just looks like, I don't know, just like a room where, like, you can just, like, touch up your makeup and stuff like that. Like, I didn't see any stalls. There was a door. I don't know if, like, the bathroom was, like, connected to it. I didn't see, like, sinks there as well. So, I'm assuming it is just, like, a little lounge room for, like, women to, like, you know, get their, like, touch up their makeup and shit like that. But that is probably the most haunted place there, like, ever. Like, in the whole building, it's probably the most haunted location. And... This
is, like, little makeup room?
Yeah, it's, like, it's not, like, little. It's, like, probably, like, the size of... I think it's probably the size from, like, your kitchen and living room, like, to your room. Like, that whole, like, square. Okay. I think that's probably how big it is, if not even bigger, like, up to the guest room. You know?
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty good size.
Yeah. And there's, like, a... Kind of like a... How do I say it? Like a little sitting, like where you can sit down like in the middle, and then like it's mainly just covered like in mirrors for women to like touch up their makeup. So so obviously like it gives off a creepy vibe, and there you'll hear a woman telling you to get out. Like you'll see her in the mirror and she'll tell you to get out. And there's a tour guide that pops up, and his name is Chuck Liddell, I think that's his last name. And he like 2 years ago when this episode came out, he said that 7 people had told him the same exact story. That there was a woman telling them to get out. So, there was also a time when a woman heard crying. And this, actually, I didn't get from the episode too, but from an article. And it was from this woman that was a travel, like, she does travel shit. So she writes articles about, like, her travels and shit like that. And she's like, I'm not a ghost writer, but I'm just gonna be writing about, like, shit that I heard from here. Might as well, because she traveled to Catalina. Might as well talk a little bit about the ghosts, because it's very popular there, which I've never heard of at all until I genuinely started researching Catalina in and of itself. So there was a time when a woman heard crying, so she went to check inside the lounge room and it was empty. So that's another creepy part. There's also rumors of a man dressed in a tux who's been sighted on the dance floor. And it's rumored that this man goes by the name of William Popham? Popham? Poor William, just making fun of his name. I wasn't even trying to. I'm so done with you, Michael.
William! Popham! Jesus fucking Christ. That got me so off guard.
Stop! Oh my god. He had attended the dance solo and with a heavy heart having faced rejection of his beloved, leaped off to his death from the balcony.
Real. So wait, so what's his name again? I'm so sorry. It wasn't Popham.
William Popham.
Pop.
Popham.
Ham.
Popham. I don't know. It was in the article. Like, okay. There's another figure of a man in vintage attire around like the 1920s getup, who was reportedly strolled right through a solid door. There's also a middle-aged man from the 50s who's unresponsive and pops up from time to time and then suddenly like disappears. Like if you try talking to him, like he just won't do anything. He'll just like look at you and then he'll just like Harry Houdini.
Fucking rude.
Yeah, he'll just Houdini out of there. There's also supposedly a woman in white who asks if you've seen her husband.
I mean, I've seen corpses, but I don't know how this goes.
But yeah. So, that's basically the small gist of what I got in that little article. Now I'm going to be talking about Ghost Adventures and what they found, okay? So, this genuinely, like, give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I need you to send me what episode this was. I need to see it for myself.
I have it. I think I have it, like, last watched on your account.
My account?
Yeah, because I use your HBO account.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think it's last watched. Or if not, it's probably, like, the episode before where it says, like, watch next. It's going to be that. I'll still send you the link anyways.
I completely forgot that you have access to that.
In the early 1900s, a self-made archaeologist named Ralph Glidden tore through the island, desecrating countless of Tonva Native American remains. He created a museum in Catalina, and the bones were used as props and furniture. He even sold some of these sacred remains to high bidders. They believed that due to him disturbing the graves, something woke up. At one point, his sacrilegious collection was held in the casino, and Zach interviewed a woman named Erin. And I'm gonna go back to the women's restroom or whatever. The article that I saw barely covered anything. It just says, oh yeah, there's a ghost here, 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 and here. But like when I was watching Ghost Adventures, like they kind of go more in depth about that ghost, specifically that woman that's in that lounge room, that ghost woman. And this woman named Erin, she heard a woman's voice in the restroom. I say restroom or lounge room, but it's just the same. It's the same area. And she heard a woman's voice in there, and she knew that she was by herself, and she just went nope, and she just left. She dipped. She thought like somebody else can deal with it. Literally, like she just was not messing around. And she's a Catalina native. Like she was born and raised there. Fuck. So she's been there. Yeah, she's been there for forever. So even watching her, she was visibly like shaken and uncomfortable, like even being there. Like, and like her voice was very shaky too, like when she spoke. And obviously like Bagel Bites and like everybody else was like, oh, I'm feeling some creepy vibes, like creepy energy and whatever. And like that, I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, they're used to this, you know, or like they're doing it for the cameras, whatever. But no, like she genuinely like felt very uncomfortable to be there. And so also I forgot to tell you that in the casino there's also a theater. And in the theater, like, and it's like a theater where you can have plays at, but it's also a theater where you can watch movies. So in the theater, there's like, since like I told you, it's like very like old Hollywood type of like, I don't know, Great Gatsby, but less glamorous. There's like these vents, and they're really pretty, and they're made out of like brass or whatever. And she said that there was light peering through the vents, and when she was like 6 or 7, she looked up, and she saw a shadow figure, like, looking down on her through the vent.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, so supposedly she's not the first one to say that she sees a shadow figure up on the vent and everything. She said that she's seen it more than once. And, you know, going back to Chuck, they had told him, basically, like, don't talk about ghosts at all. Like, because he's a tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't talk about ghosts at all. We don't want to, like, scare them. We don't want to make them leave. Like, we want it to be, like, welcoming for them to want to come again. Like, if you talk about how haunted it is, like, they'll get scared and they'll leave. And then Chuck's all like, alright, I don't have to tell them, but they're gonna see it anyways. Like, that's just how haunted he is. Like, he's all like, they're gonna see it anyways. Like, I don't even have to talk about ghosts. They're gonna know that ghosts exist. Oh yeah, Zach asked Chuck about Glidden's, I think that's his name, his claims, basically, because he had claimed to have found giants. Catalina Island is also infamous for a giant. For giants.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, I know. This is, like, so fucking weird. And, like, which is crazy in and of itself because I also wanted to cover giants, but I found, like, not a lot of credible stuff regarding... Because I did, like, a small search. Like, I wasn't going to go... I didn't dive deep into it. Yeah. I feel like it's too much for me to, like, do, like, in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, you know what? If there's only, like, a little bit of lore of giants, like, I'm definitely going to cover it. But I was like, no, it's something, like, pretty big. But yeah, so supposedly this archaeologist or whatever that desecrated a whole bunch of native, you know, like, burial sites, he also claims to have seen a giant, that he unearthed a giant. And they asked him, like, can you tell us more about it? And he was basically saying that, that basically Catalina Island was where all the chiefs, like the Native American chiefs and important religious leaders would meet. And they had temples here in Catalina as well. And there's a theory that he had mentioned called the Hollow Earth theory.
Oh, shit.
And that Catalina is a portal.
No. What the fuck?
So you've heard about it before?
I've heard about the Hollow Earth theory, yes.
I haven't heard about the Hollow Earth theory, but I haven't heard about the Hollow Earth theory by name, but I knew what it was because supposedly in Appalachia, there's also, you know, like, something regarding that as well.
Yeah.
What's it called? There was even footage, like, on TikTok, like, 2-3 years ago of, like, a giant, like, on the mountain and shit like that. And I was just like, oh, okay. But I didn't know that's what the Hollow Earth theory was. And then as I was reading this, I was like, oh, okay, now the dots are, like, connecting, you know? Like, now I understand.
The Hollow Earth theory has been around for, I think, since, from what I can recall, since World War II. I think back then, this is gonna go borderline between, like, conspiracy theory to, like, historical account, where I think, like, Adolf Hitler was trying to find his way to the Hollow Earth, because he believed that he could probably, if he couldn't take control of the outside world, he can take control of the inside world. Stupid shit.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah, the Germans did a lot of questionable things that we can talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. So for the people that don't know what the Hollow Earth theory is, no. Even though you probably just explained it, it's basically that there are, like, greenish doors around the world, and there's giants guarding these green doors, allowing people passage in and out. And these doors allowed people to go to other parts of the world. And this is actually the first time I heard of this theory, like I said. But I had remembered something similar, you know, regarding the Appalachian Mountains as well. So supposedly there was an urn with a skeleton, and I believe it was a giant skeleton. And it was found with its hands on the rim of the urn. And it was surrounded by a circle of 20 to 30 children. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I try to take a lot of things with a grain of salt because automatically, like, when you think of a portal, you think of circles, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's why they're like, oh, it's a sacrifice. Like, or, like, if you think of a sacrifice, like a sacrificial pit, it's usually, like, a circle and shit like that. So immediately they're like, oh, it's a sacrificial pit, it's this, it's that, or whatever. And I was like, you don't know. Maybe it was just where they would bury children. I don't know. Because I feel like people are so quick to bring in paranormal or conspiracies to things that they don't understand, which at the same time I don't blame them, and I feel like it's a part like it's very disrespectful in a way to people and their culture that you know nothing about, because for example, like, you don't know why that was there. For you to automatically think, oh, it's like a sacrificial pit, I feel like it just puts a bad rep on Native American people. Especially back then on the time, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they worship their gods or whatever. They did things that, you know, like, I've never done, that I don't fully understand, but that's just what they followed. And that was their religion. And you don't know if it was sacrificial pits. It probably was the only place where they would bury children. It would probably was like a child cemetery. Like, and I can't really fully gather if it was genuinely a circle. I didn't really find anything about it. I did find old newspaper clippings, but at the same time, I don't like this archaeologist dude at all because of how disrespectful he was to the Native Americans. Like, he desecrated their graves, which is so disrespectful and everything. Like, they deserve to be resting there, like, in peace. They never deserve to have their graves messed with at all. And for them to think, like, I don't know, I feel like this is probably, like, my little, like, Shaniac brain thinking as well. Like, I feel like desecrating stuff like that, desecrating graves, especially native people, I feel like it's not exactly like the bad juju, you know what I mean?
You mean Bukhara? What was it, Shaniac and...
Oh shit, yeah, my bad. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. No, Shaniac. Because I'm like, just because like you automatically like think of like native people, like doesn't mean that like they placed a curse, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, I see what you
mean. Kind of like
that
misconception, you know, like, that misconception that like native people. I genuinely feel like there's like that misconception that like native people are like savages, you know what I mean? Where people like claim that, and then they're like, oh, they don't know what they're doing, or like, oh, they do these crazy rituals and like sacrifices. So like, no, I don't know. It's crazy. I just feel like it's very disrespectful. Kind of like the way that they were handling it and the way that they were automatically thinking like, oh, it's a sacrificial pit. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you don't know that for sure. And for you to just claim that, it's pretty rude. Sorry, that's just like my little like, 2 cents like regarding the episode. Yeah. So, they ended up going to the women's lounge with Chuck. And this wasn't during their nightly investigation. Like, they were there like, it was already dark, probably like after... like, when the sun had already gone down, but it wasn't for their initial investigation when they, like, get locked in. And, they went to the women's lounge, and right as Zach was about to walk in, the polterpod said, wait. And the polterpod, I guess you can say it's kind of like a spirit box type of thing. I don't know if that's exactly... it's basically what it is, but that's just the name of it. And, as soon as they walked in, Billy was holding the EMF reader. And, like, it just started going up and down, up and down, up and down. And that shit went high. So fucking high. And to the point where, like, it was really creepy, too, because, like, it was happening in that same, like, the same one area in that whole lounge. And, basically, like, it was going off in front of a certain mirror. And Chuck was basically saying, like, she gets more active, like, the more you talk about her. Like, she loves the attention. And as soon as he said that, that shit spiked up. Like, immediately. And then fucking Billy's just screaming, like, interrupting Chuck. And then you can just see Chuck look at him, like, can you please shut the fuck up? Like, literally, like...
I'm talking here.
Yeah, no, literally, like, Chuck, like... I don't know, like, I was just looking at the video, and, like, Chuck just, like, gave him the side eye. Like, the Chihuahua side eye. Like, can you shut the fuck up, please? But, yeah. So, I don't know if that's exactly that stall where other people have said, but that's exactly where it was going off, like, when I was watching the video. And right there when Chuck was talking, the other dude, I forgot his name. I think, is it Jay? I think? I'm not sure. But he had taken 2 Polaroid photos of Chuck during that whole mirror thing. And they ended up seeing the Polaroids afterwards. And there was, like, this little cloud arc over him. And they took the photos, like, twice, like, in the same area. And the second photo that they took was when he was talking about the ghost. Exactly when that EMF spiked off. And when you look at the Polaroid, there was smoke coming, like, it was like a cloud coming out of his mouth. In the fucking Polaroid.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and when they saw that, they showed it to Chuck. Even Chuck was like, what the fuck, you know? And they immediately went back in there and they tried recreating the photos because they're like, okay, maybe it's a glare because of the mirrors or whatever. No, they could not recreate the photos. So that's why, like, that's one of the pieces of evidence when I was like, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Especially because they were Polaroid photos.
Wait a minute, I've seen Phasmophobia. I know how this goes. I know what they're doing here.
No, yeah, but I got a little bit of the heebie-jeebies there because they're Polaroid photos.
Yeah.
It's not like they could be, like, doctored at all.
No, like, it's taken in that fucking moment. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Zach and Aaron... Oh, I'm almost done. So, Zach and Aaron started feeling nauseous, and they were kind of, like... I don't know. Aaron started having some back pain. Like, I think it's just because he's old. I think it's because of his old age.
Oh, that's fine. I think it's the ghost. Dude, you're 40.
But yeah. So... I don't know, I just wanted to put that in there because I think it's funny. But I'm going to be talking about, this next thing. Holy shit, like, my heart's a little bit racing now because this next thing genuinely freaked me out. Fuck, I think even my hands are shaking a little bit.
Boo.
So, alright.
If you need to take a breath, take a breath.
No, I'm fine. I don't know if it's because of the coffee. Maybe it's both, right?
Fear and
caffeine.
Fear and caffeine.
I can't be caffeinated right without the caffeine, alright?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of no, I'm gonna getting too far away. Okay.
Speaking of caffeine.
One of the things that creeped me out the most was the SLS footage.
What?
SLS footage. And, let me see real quick. So, what an SLS camera is, you've seen it before where it's like, they're recording like an empty room and then you see like that little stick figure moving.
Okay, yeah.
That's what SLS is.
It's like almost like motion capture kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess you can say. So, they had recorded like this small little room. There was a mirror on the left side. The camera wasn't directly in front of the mirror. But there was, I believe it was Billy. He was there and you can see his stick figure, right? His stick figure was there. And they wanted to have, like, this ghost, like, sit in the chair. And Zach was like, can you sit in the chair? You know, whatever. So they decided to move the chair. They happened to move it in front of the mirror. I'm pretty sure it wasn't their intention for the ghost to crawl out of the mirror. Or whatever. But that's basically what happened.
No.
But, so, yeah, that's what kind of freaked me out a bit. And, Billy and his reflection in the mirror showed the stick figure. So they're like, okay, that's obviously it's not the ghost, it's just his reflection. The stick figure is just copying like his reflection or whatever. It's fine. They put the chair down. As soon as he fucking left the camera, that stick figure was there in the mirror. It sat in the fucking chair and then it crawled out of the mirror.
No. Fuck.
Dude.
I gotta see this now.
Dude.
No.
I feel like I'm gonna cry right now. That's just how creeped out I was. Because, like, how do you fake that? I feel like this is, like, one of the first Ghost Adventure episodes that I have seen with actual, like, concrete evidence that, like, freaked me out. And I'm not gonna be talking about, like, the slams or, like, the door shuts or, like, the voices that they hear or whatever. Like, I feel
or
like...
Zach's tight fucking shirts.
He was actually wearing a hoodie this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But... it crawled out of the mirror. And then another one crawled out of the mirror. And it sat in the chair that was outside of the mirror, but it looked like its arm was stuck. The second ghost had issues like crawling out of the mirror. That dude, I got so fucking creeped out when I was like rewatching it. Cause like I watched it the first time and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. You know? I was like half asleep. I wasn't really like paying attention much of it. But then like when I was watching it again, like this morning, I was like, holy shit. I'm surprised I slept fine. I slept like a baby. But
just cover your mirror and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So after the second ghost fully crawls out of the mirror, they both just disappear. Nothing else happens. So, they were also saying that they believe that the casino is a big portal in and of itself because it is a circle. And I'm just like, okay, that's a little far-fetched.
Yeah, that's kind of reaching.
Yeah. And also because of the mirrors are known to be portals as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, if you bring a circle and a whole bunch of mirrors in a circle, like, it's just gonna be like one big ass like gateway, I guess. Which I don't blame them. Whatever. That's just what they think. They sent one of the crew members to the theater room by himself to find evidence. I'm surprised it wasn't Aaron this time because Zach would always send Aaron by himself. But no, they sent off Jay. He went to the theater room by himself. He basically found really no real evidence. And he was a little bummed out because he really wanted to find like evidence. And while this shit is happening, like, Zach, Billy, and Aaron are together in the women's lounge room. But, like, yeah, going back to Jay, he was getting a little bit bummed out. He was, like, sitting in the theater seats, and he's all, like, do a performance for me. He would stand on the stage. He's all, like, do you guys want to watch a performance? Like, and he's not really getting anything. And he set a thermal camera there, and he had left the theater room to go, like, backstage. And in the thermal camera, you can see an orb of heat, and then it disappears.
Of heat?
Yeah. Like, it was red.
Isn't it usually cold?
Yeah. So, a lot of people, they basically said, like, we're not going to count this as ghost evidence. Because, like I said, like, ghosts are usually cold. So, that's what I believe that they were thinking, too. They didn't say, oh, it's because ghosts are usually cold. But that's just what I'm thinking. That they couldn't explain exactly what it is, especially because it was an orb, and it was just like, it was there for like 5 seconds maybe, and then it just like disappears. So they don't know exactly what it is, and they can't rule it out what it is. I don't know if maybe it was like a rat, like a rodent that was there, like, they don't know. It wasn't the shape of a rodent or whatever, but at the same time, the thermal camera was all the way in the back of the theater, and this is like where the stage was at.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why they can't really tell exactly what it is, but that did happen when Jay was off. And like I said, he was getting super bummed out, and eventually like he ended up getting a little bit happy because he ended up like hearing some creepy shit, and he was just happy that he was hearing creepy shit, and he's like, what the fuck was that, you know? And I'm like, whatever, I guess the ghost like gave him a little pity, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll play with you for a bit.
Throw you a little bone. Here you go.
Yeah. But going back to Zach Bagel Bites, this next thing that I did see did creep me out as well. But it didn't creep me out as much as that SLS thing, but it did creep me out too. So, basically, like, in that lounge room, as soon as you walk in to your right, there is a mirror at a 45-degree angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you look straight to the left, there is a door, which I don't know where it leads to. I don't know if it's just like the closet where they put the cleaning supplies. I don't know if that's like the stalls for the bathroom. But the rest, like in an L shape, is where the mirrors are at. And it's just a whole bunch of mirrors. It's not like one big mirror. It's just like a whole bunch of mirrors, like just right next to each other. You know what I mean? For like women to go like get ready, you know, touch up their makeup, whatever, touch up their outfits. And something funny that they did earlier, which made me giggle, is that they did the Bloody Mary thing.
No, my fucking God. Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they did thanks to Zach, they did the Bloody Mary thing. But you know how Zach is, you know?
He'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they eventually ended up leaving the women's lounge, and they're looking at, like, some other shit. They hear some stuff. They hear, like, bottles clinking in the recorder, even though they didn't hear any bottles clinking, like, at all. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not really going to rule that as evidence or whatever. Like, I don't really believe that. But they ended up going back to the women's lounge, and they pull out the SLS thing again. And I don't know if they changed a certain mode, or I don't know if it's the one, because Zach was recording himself in that mirror that was at a 45-degree angle, right next to the door, and Billy and Aaron were in the hallway. And Zach was filming himself in the mirror. It wasn't the SLS thing, so it said SLS camera, I don't know if they meant something else, but I wasn't seeing like Zach's stick figure. I don't know if they just turned off that mode or whatever, but Zach was filming himself in the mirror. And then behind him, you can see a figure walking past him. And he immediately turns to tell Billy and Aaron, and you see that they're in the hallway. Nobody else is behind him at all. Nobody else is behind him at all. And it's like if it was a person, you'd see that it was a person. But no, this was a straight up figure. Like, and you can see them like a torso and legs walking, and then like they're like hunched over, and then they just pass him. Yeah.
Oh man.
And like Zach was so fucking happy. He was freaking out, but he was so happy. It's like he's never found evidence before in his life, and he was like, "This is the first time he's found evidence." Like himself.
It's actually real. Holy shit.
Like this whole time I don't have to fake it. No, but they immediately stopped and he's like, "No, we need to look back at the footage to make sure that we saw what I saw." Mm-hmm. And they did look back, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like that. Like at first I didn't really see it, but then like they pointed it out, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that. Like there's no way you can fake that either. And then Billy did point out. He's all like, what is up with that mirror specifically? Where that figure passed by, he's all like, turn around and look, where was that mirror at? And it's that same fucking mirror that was going off earlier. It was that same fucking mirror, the one in the far left, that they have been having issues with. Like this whole time, where it was spiking. You know, like, what is it with this mirror? You know, and he's like tapping on it. He's like, what is it with this mirror that it's so active? Like, why this place? Like, out of the whole room, like, why this place? You know? And, it just, like, it just gave me, like, the vibe. Like, this is, like, yeah, it's small or whatever. But this is, like, the first Ghost Adventure episode that I've seen with so much evidence. Like, the really high EMF readings, they even claim, like, this is the first time our EMF readings have ever been this high. Ever. And when I tell you, like, and it wasn't, like, halfway, like, no, dude. It was fully, like, all the fucking way. All the way, the EMF readings.
Yeah, it never goes, like, past, like, halfway.
Yeah. It was, like, all the way. And, oh, my God. There was also a part 2 where Aaron was cloning Billy and, like, basically telling him that he's stupid. So, like, Billy was looking at himself in the mirror. And he's like, whoa, that's crazy. He's all like, I can't see my facial features. He's all like, on the episode. Perfect. He's all like, whoa, I can't see my facial features. I can't see my eyes. I just see black. And then Aaron's basically like, it's nighttime, dude. Like, calm the fuck down. You know, like, you're fine. Like, it's just a mirror. But yeah, like, that's basically what I covered. And I just feel like I was like, okay, I really have to cover, like, this episode. It was just too insane. And you can actually take tours of that casino.
I really want to do that. We still have the what's it called again? The crazy house museum.
Winchester.
The Winchester Museum.
The Winchester House.
The Winchester House. My bad. We still need to go do that.
I'm down to go next year on my birthday.
I thought we were doing it this year.
No, I'm talking about Catalina Island.
Oh, yeah.
We do Winchester for your birthday this year. Mm-hmm. We'll do Catalina next year for my birthday.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
We could probably even, like, just spend a night and everything. Like, you, me, Daisy, and Nicole. Mm-hmm. Spend a night.
Okay.
Just chill there. Be at the beach.
Yeah.
Even though I hate the beach, but I like spooky shit.
How do you hate the beach?
You can also rent, like, go-karts, and you can just, like, go around the whole fucking island. And you see buffaloes.
Or, I have a Polaroid right here. You know, we do the whole actual investigation type shit.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. They also have a night tour as well.
Perfect. Did I tell you, like,
you're gay? You did. It's okay, Michael. I've been having this feeling. I'm just kidding. Tucks hair behind ear.
So I talked about how I work sort of near the Queen Mary, right?
Yes, sir.
I did tell you my little weird spooky interaction I had. Like
you did.
The morning with the restroom?
No.
No?
Not with the restroom.
No? Okay, so me and my trainer, we had to go into the office near the Queen Mary to do some paperwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
We needed to update some numbers on a certain thing. And there's two restrooms, like two little public restrooms that people can go into.
Mm-hmm.
And for those restrooms, it's automatic, or you can push a button. And when you push that button, you gotta put some force into it to push that button, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and the whole building, right? There's nothing going on, no other individuals. It's just me and him.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting at the desk. We're at least 10 yards from the restrooms. And as we're busy clicking and clacking the fucking keyboard, we hear the restrooms go off. It flushes.
A spooky dookie.
And yeah, fucking spooky dookie. And I'm like, what the fuck?
No,
like,
you never told me that. Holy shit.
Me and him look at each other and we're just like, we're like, what the fuck?
Did you guys check it out?
No. Fuck that. If it's gonna come out, it's gonna come out to us. Like, I'm not, I'm not dealing with it. No, but I was like, okay, that's a little interesting. And then, at first, I brushed it off because I was like, oh, man, fucking maybe some debris fucking triggered the sensor or some shit. But I'm like, fuck, even when I'm using that restroom, like, that fucking motion detector doesn't even go off on me. Sounds bullshit.
Yeah.
Then, like, the only one I've ever seen is, like, the manual button, which you need some force for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until, like, the next day I was just like, was it because we're right next to the Queen Mary? Like, I'm telling you.
You finally, like, put the little 2 and 2 together?
Yeah, I was like, is it because of that? Because I'm telling you.
Who knows?
So, like, let's say that this is the building I'm working for, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Queen Mary's, like, over here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not that far. It's, by walk, sure, it's a little far, but it's relative, not that far.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got on the Catalina Island Casino.
I'm looking forward to us next year exploring that. It's gonna be fun. Okay.
Well, that's it, everybody.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be a nice little wrap up. Nice little straight to the point episode where we didn't go off on.
We did a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like the last couple episodes we've been on like some insane tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did talk a bit before we even started.
Yeah, but it's like we haven't really done our intro properly. Mm-hmm. I've noticed.
I tried to.
We get distracted.
We do.
Yeah, that is what it is.
Literally, when I was telling you about the SLS footage, like water, like my eyes were getting watery. Like I was getting really freaked out. I don't know if it's because of the coffee that's like enhancing like.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'm down to watch that episode again. Because I like scary shit, but like, it genuinely like freaked me out when I was watching that episode, and like it wasn't even that crazy. Like nothing crazy fucking happened, but that evidence is just like you can't like explain it. You genuinely cannot explain it. And that's it.
That's my favorite type of evidence right there. Like shit that you really could not explain.
Alright, everybody. This is where we say goodbye. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, make sure you guys drink your caffeine and...
Yeah, stay caffeinated.
Stay caffeinated, yeah.
And our Instagram is Caffeinated Creeps Podcast.
Yep.
Same as Twitter, but we never use Twitter. I never post shit on the Twitter. But yeah.
If you want to watch me work out to questionable ASMR, you can find me on TikTok. Strongest ASMR enjoyer. Even though I don't fucking post her anymore, basically I need to go work out again so I can post.
I feel that.
Yeah.
You go, Coco.
Coco.
Yeah.